A judgment by the Supreme Court today removed Senator David Umaru as the lawmaker representing Niger East Senatorial District and replaced him with Mr. Mohammed Sani Musa as winner of the election into the upper legislative chamber. The court set aside the April 8th judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which declared Senator Umaru as the valid candidate of the All Progressive Congress (APC) and winner of the poll. A five-man panel of the court, led by Justice Ibrahim Mohammed in a unanimous judgment, agreed with the arguments of Mr. Wole Olanipeku, counsel to the appellant, that Mr. Musa won the APC primary and ought to have been declared the party's candidate for the election. The Apex Court, in setting aside the judgment of the Appeal Court, affirmed the February 7th judgment of the Federal High Court Abuja, which declared Mr. Musa the validly nominated APC candidate. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has promised to ensure the implementation of the EU Election Observation Group's recommendations on the 2019 general elections. Speaking in Abuja shortly after receiving the EU officials, Professor Yakubu says the European Union has been a big part of Nigeria's steady progress towards democratic consolidation since 1999. The EU Election Observation Group says it has compiled its report and is ready to present it to INEC.
Every election in any democracy around the world is work in progress. We therefore look forward to the full 2019 EU Election Observation Report and recommendations. We are confident that there will be useful lessons for the Commission and all other institutions and stakeholders as we prepare for future elections. Indeed, the report is coming at the right time, as it will feed into the ongoing review of the conduct of the elections. Let me assure you that the Commission will again quickly focus attention on the electoral legal framework, in addition to several other areas of reform. We will study your recommendations in detail as part of the ongoing review of the 2019 general elections, which we hope to conclude in the next 2 months. Immediately after, we shall engage with the leadership of the 9th National Assembly on areas that require legislation, while implementing aspects of the reform within the powers of the Commission in full consultation with the stakeholders. There is so much work to do, but there is very little time ahead.
The security issues now. Following increasing concerns about frequent attacks along the Ibadan-Ife Road in some parts of Ondo State, the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 11 is giving an assurance that more policemen have been deployed to beef up security at identified flashpoints. Mr. Leye Oyebade adds that a stakeholders meeting has been held with traditional, community and religious leaders from the affected states with a view to solving the problem. Our correspondent, Bukola Oriowo, has this report.
Operation Puff Adder, led by AIG Leye Oyebade, had visited many areas identified as attack points to have a clear view of the task ahead. The visit births a meeting of all stakeholders.
We are asking you now to go back and work together with our divisional police officers, work together with the area commanders, give them relevant information that they need. The hurdles that are traversing your areas, when there are new ones coming in, you can get them and report the information necessary to the police so that we can monitor their activities.
Some leaders of affected communities are made to commit to achieve peace in their zones.
The local residents, the Fulanese, the local population should notice when criminal elements like robbers and kidnappers appear in their midst. The AIG, the Commissioner of Police, should take advantage of information provided by the locals to fight crime.
Motorists and residents lament the effect of the attacks on their safety and business, even as they claim that the road is a danger zone from 5 p.m.
When we got to Ikiri, we met so many people parking on the way. So I asked them what really happened. They said they were robbing in the front.
If it can possible for government to patrol with helicopter so as to know where about those the hiding place that they are hiding, because they used to come out from bush. So immediately they come out, they don't waste time at all, like 30-40 minutes, they operated, finished, they vanished.
For your state police boss, Shino Lukolu, security presence in the affected areas has been scaled up.
We ensure that nobody will be able to have anything like this, a post or an office around such areas. And because they assisted us, they believed in us, they worked with us, we were able to dislodge whoever was hiding in the forest from such an environment and increase the number of patrol vehicles along that road. And since then, nothing had happened in that area.
With all the efforts being put in place by the police, the coming days will determine the effectiveness. Bukola Oriowo, Channels Television News.
We're now being joined on the news at 10 by Mr. Leye Oyebade, who is the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 11, which comprises of Ondo, Osun, and Oyo State, to look at the security threat in the area over the last couple of weeks. A pleasure having you with us on the news at 10.
Thank you so much.
Now, Mr. Oyedade, there's been several reports of kidnapping and attacks along the Ibadan-Ife Road, which is amongst the areas under your purview. How well have you been able to rise up to this challenge?
The Inspector General of Police have given us more personnel. To be specific, we have deployed more PMF men to the identified flashpoints. If you are moving from Ibadan, before you get to Ife, we have identified the flashpoints where these incidents occur. So we've been able to cover them. And apart from that, we now have patrol vehicles that crisscross all the roads. When you go around, apart from those on the ground, the patrol vehicles also go around. We are also planning to have area surveillance by helicopter to be able to checkmate them from the air so that we can be able to monitor them from the upstairs. Now, the waterfront also is a challenge. And we are speaking with the governor of Ondo State, who have promised to build a jetty for our marine police. And by that, because that is escape routes, when they commit the crime, sometimes they escape through the waterfronts when you get to Ore. And we have identified those points. We want to cover the waterfronts. And also, the intention of the Nigerian police force is to deploy technical platforms, which we have already deployed. We have developed IT and developed the technical platforms that will address this issue more than ordinary police officers on the ground.
Well, many still fear that the security threat along that axis may be similar to what's happening at the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway. So are we drifting along that route?
No, no, no. Emphatic no. And why am I saying no? We have made a lot of arrests. We have done a lot of diligent prosecution of the arrests that we have made. And so when we continue to deplete them, we made a lot of recoveries. Some arms have been recovered if you follow the news. So with all these, we have depleted their strength. And going further, we also know that with the coming intervention of the governors from the 3 states, we're going to have more of the gadgets that we need to embolden our men on the ground to be able to do the needful. We're going to make kidnapping unprofitable for them, and that will deter them. When we do more of proper investigation and diligent prosecution, we'll be able to deter them from coming to that business, and it will be a no-go area for them.
Well, from your findings, what do you think is fueling these attacks, especially kidnapping, which is spreading to several parts of the country?
You see, crime is dynamic. So also society is dynamic. So when we develop, you see that there are times, in those days, there is nothing like internet fraud. We start having it because of all this IT and globalization, modernization, and all this robotization. The development of the society brings this type of crime. But going forward, we're going to be more proactive, we're going to be more preventive rather than being reactive.
That's what I was about to ask you. So what are you going to be doing to stop this crime from even happening?
Community policing is the way forward. That's why you see us engaging on those that are really the critical stakeholders. Because policing is everybody's business. Those that are involved, we share intelligence vertically and horizontally with other sister agencies. And also along that route, all the leadership, all traditional rulers, all the leaders of thoughts and even the academia, all those that are relevant, we engage them. You see that all these meetings, we engage them, we bring a solution to how we can manage the crime, at least to bring it to the lowest ebb.
In the last meeting with the traditional community and religious leaders, how was their body language? Did they embrace that police is your friend?
Very fruitful. We have been able to engage them. They are coming to give us information, rather than in those days when they don't trust. The element of trust and confidence is being built now. And when you have the trust that you can tell us and we can do it and we can confine the information and use it judiciously to the betterment of the society, everybody is going to enjoy that. And that's what we're doing. Intelligence-led policing, community policing, so that we'll be able to tackle this banditry and what have you headlong. And I want to assure members of the public that Zone 11, with what we have on the ground, we're able to do the best, and everywhere will be crime-free as we go forward.
Because people are still afraid. I know some people, when they want to do parties, they still employ the services of soldiers, policemen to protect them. So how do you really reassure them that they're safe?
With what is on ground now, I am assuring members of the public, let them just continue to give us information. We have circulated the numbers of our control rooms, and we have improved on our response to distress calls. When you call, we're always at alert to come around and rescue the situation. And with the deployment of the technical platform, I've told you, we will not be able to open everything on the air now. We're going to make sure that with the technical platform and the deployment of technology, we are able to cut down their strength. And that is what we're going to do.
Okay, Mr. Leye Uyebade, it was a pleasure having you with us on the News at 10.
Thank you so much.